21 North Raleigh Mitchell on April 29th, 2017 for a wedding.
Move to approve.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is on the application of the Highland Conference Center for a special event liquor license located at 1920 Highland Way, using a portion of the Highland Conference Center / Comfort Inn's parking lot on May 17, 2017 for the Kyle Petty Charity Ride. The applicant is asking for a consumption permit at the Highland Conference Center, parade permit through town, and to temporarily close Main Street from 6th Avenue to 7th Avenue from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a photograph.
Glendon, any concerns?
No, we've been meeting with them on this, and I think they're going to rope off the area and sign it, and yeah, I don't have any concerns. We will be having at least 3 officers for security for this whole thing also.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the committee reports. The first one is the public properties.
Did we do both of the overtime steakhouse ones? Did we have another one here?
That was just a correction of the staff report that was in the packet. The staff report in the packet had an incorrect heading basically on it.
Public properties met tonight at 6:30, and we had a number of items on the agenda. Jeff Bathke from the Davidson County Emergency people were here to talk about an exercise on June 17th, 2017, and we had several concerns about use of the lake, and those were adequately answered, and we approved that. Then last meeting, we had the Wild Oak Development ask for 1 metal pole, and after discussions with Northwestern Public Service, we're going to put in 6 poles, and then we'll be done with that, and that was approved. And then we had a request for a street light at the end of Menser Court, which we did not approve, and instead we suggested more signage indicating that it was not a through street, it was a dead end, and trucks shouldn't get mixed up. And we adjourned at 6:50.
For a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor
Do you
signify by
want to
saying
do traffic go together with it?
should those be done separately, or can we do them together?
I would do them together since
Okay.
they're listed under the same
Next is the
heading.
traffic report then.
Okay, Traffic
Right.
Commission met tonight in regular session. We had 3 items on the agenda. The first was a request for a no parking space on the south side of L.B. Williams School on South Wisconsin Street on the east side of the road nearest the intersection. This was approved. Next, the JVCC requested to close the 5th and Main parking lot to hold the farmers market again this summer. It'll be every Saturday from June 3rd, 2017 to September 23, 2017. And the parking lot will close from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the market will operate from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This was approved. And then we had an information traffic study on the First and Foster traffic study. It was just discussion at this time, and there was no direct recommendations made.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Board of Adjustment. I would entertain a motion for the City Council to recess and sit as the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to set the date for Board of Adjustment hearing for May 1st, 2017. James River Housing Incorporated has applied for a conditional use permit to construct self-service storage facility with varying compartment sizes from 50 to 400 square feet per compartment, with the stipulation the property be adjacent to a major collector or arterial street as designated by the Public Works Department on the property legally described as Lot K2, Weaver's Square Addition, Northwest 1/4 27, T103 North, R60 West, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota, 1401 South Main Street.
Move to set the date.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Hearing on Merlin Tingle, 1800 block, Loma Linda Drive, motion to table. Mervyn Tinkle has applied for a conditional use permit to construct a multi-family dwelling building on the property legally described as Lot X1, except the east 317 feet thereof within Lot X in the northeast quarter of the northeast quarter southeast, 1 quarter northeast, 1 quarter, Section 29, Township 103, North Range 60, west of the 5th Principal Meridian, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota, 1800 block of Loma Linda Drive. The property is zoned HB, Highway Oriented Business District. Planning Commission tabled the application.
Again, if you would want to refer to the Planning Commission minutes at your last meeting, you would see they're still waiting for a drainage study. So obviously, they don't have a recommendation for you. So it's unclear when exactly that study would be forthcoming. So if you want to just kind of leave it open for till that study comes, or I'll let Justin maybe.
I would just recommend tabling indefinitely.
Just,
Is that study coming? I mean, Christmas
he's
is
been
coming
notified,
too.
yeah, he's been notified that that's the requirement, so,
He was notified, and he was not there at the last
Right.
planning commission meeting, so we got the letter again at his table, so we're waiting for his answer.
yeah.
Is he interested? I mean, is he still active?
How far is, yeah, he's,
I don't think that we've heard from him since we told him
I
what we
haven't.
were requiring for the drainage plan.
so,
It seems like it's been months. Maybe
Well,
that's my
this is-
imagination, but
yeah.
Probably
Just
about
to
a
me.
month.
Yeah, it's been a month. Well, if it does come, we'll run it through planning commission again, and go through the whole thing.
I
so.
move that we table this indefinitely.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Entertaining motion for the Board of Adjustment to adjourn and the City Council to reconvene in regular session.
So moved.
Opposed, same sign. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Getting ahead of myself again. Keep me straight, Bev. Action to approve agreement number A2017-04, Stickney Ambulance Service Intercept Agreement.
Now, this is ignorance on my part, but what is an intercept agreement? I mean, are we hijacking their ambulance? I mean, what?
Basically, that's what it is. When they come in and they need advanced life support, instead of basic life support, we meet them out on the interstate or at an overpass. We jump in their ambulance and take over and go to the hospital with it. They take our ambulance in. But our advanced paramedics will jump right in their ambulance, take over it, and work the patient in a more advanced manner at that point.
How many counties or municipalities or whatever do we have this agreement with now? Anybody?
Like 4 or 5. It's mainly just the area towns that have ambulance services.
Is this because
Mainly it's
we're
because
having trouble with volunteers?
because we have paramedics and most of them are EMTs.
Okay.
So paramedics can operate in more of an advanced life support system than EMTs can. They can do more medical things than EMTs.
I have one other question. Obviously, we have a fee with these people. Do we then charge the patient as well?
Well, I think we charge just the other ambulance service. They in charge the patient for the whole ride. That is my
But
understanding.
isn't it more if you have more advanced?
Right? That would be up to them.
And I
Well,
know
my understanding is we would just charge them this.
Okay, well,
Intercept.
what I'm trying to get at, I have no idea what it costs, but I'm going to make numbers up. Okay, a regular run is $300, an advanced run is $500. I'm just making it up. So they call us out. So now it's a $500 run. Who do we get our money from?
We get it from this other ambulance service.
And
All right,
so
additional $300.
They pay us a fee and then they pay us on top of that.
They would pay us this fee, I believe. I am not part of the direct billing of it, so that's from my best recollection.
Okay, well, do you understand what I'm saying? If I'm in Mitchell,
Right.
and I need the advanced whatever, and using my numbers, I don't know what it is, but using my numbers, that'd be a $500 ride, not a $300 ride.
Right.
And I would pay the $500 through the insurance and all the rest, okay? So what I'm trying to find out is, this fee that we're charging Stickney, I'm assuming it's a convenience fee to have us be available.
Right.
So now there's also a service fee because we're pumping drugs, we're using machines, we're doing whatever we're doing. Who pays that? Do we get it out of the patient who's in the ambulance, or do we get it out of Stickney who gets it out of the patient?
I think Stickney gets it out of the patient.
So where does our money come from? Because we provided
From
the
Stickney.
service.
Well, the item explanation says the flat rate of $300 per ambulance intercept.
That's to intercept. And then Mel's question then is, now, we've intercepted and our personnel are in the ambulance. Who's paying for the personnel in the ambulance?
I
That's exactly my
understand this
question.
is that we have a blank $300
I'll get that
per
answer for you.
intercept? Is that correct?
And does that includes our intercept and all of our service from that point on to the hospital? And that
That's-
doesn't seem to be covering all of our costs.
Well, and I would like to see
Right.
more on that as well. And I wanted to make sure, is this, as it reads, is it per intercept? It's
Yes,
not.
per intercept.
So each time we would jump into an ambulance and take over, we would be charging the extra $300?
Right.
Okay.
And
I'll find out what the
how many
extra fee is.
intercepts did we have, say, last year with all of our people that were contracted with?
It's not very many. I don't even think we do one a month right now with all of them together.
Half a dozen or?
Yeah, probably 6 a year, 6 to 8. But I can get them stats for you too. I don't have them tonight.
It may be a small point, but if we're doing open heart surgery in the ambulance, somebody's got to pay for that.
Right.
And $300 doesn't cover it.
No, there would be an additional ambulance fee on top of it. But I believe Stickney has to charge that.
Yeah, I mean.
I'll find out for you.
Service and not getting the money.
I'll find out for you.
I anticipate, I would imagine that the insurance companies, Medicaid, Medicare, or private insurance, would probably be paying for their medical care,
Right.
right?
Right.
I mean, and like the ambulance trip is typically, that's something that your insurance would cover or
Right.
not.
They do.
So my guess would be that it would come from insurance company.
It's whether we charge the additional fee or this outside agency charges the additional fee.
We've talked in the past about digging into all of this, and Stephanie is starting, I think, or knowing that that would be maybe one of our breakout sessions, so we totally understand all the fees, all the expenses. You know, we're dealing with multiple counties, multiple cities. I think it'd be, even if we don't change anything, I think it's just great information to have that knowledge of what that is. And so I know, Stephanie, I don't know when that was going to be, but at some point in time, you know, we
I
asked you
had
to put
asked
that
for
up.
it at this next meeting. I have not heard back whether it'd be available.
Well, I don't want to stiff Stickney, but by the same token, and I realize we're never going to do open heart surgery in an ambulance, but you know, if we're doing something expensive in the ambulance, I'd like to know who's paying for that. It's probably the insurance, but I don't want to have a probably. I'd like to know. So I guess I'm not comfortable voting on this tonight myself. If we have to vote, I'll vote no, but otherwise, I'd like to hold it over a meeting if that's possible.
Is there any urgency?
Oh, well, we'd like to get it set. I mean, it's the same rate we charge all the other ones. And that's the rate that was approved through our fines and fees through the council.
The question is, does it have to be approved tonight, or can I wait while you get some more information and we vote on it next meeting?
And I'm assuming if we have one in the
No.
next 2 weeks, we're going to be there for them.
The
Right.
agreement is
This is
starting
when,
11th day of
about a
May,
year
so I don't
already,
know why
so
it
it
can't
probably
be
isn't
held
going to
over.
matter. We'll still do it, so.
Justin, the agreement doesn't start until the 11th day of May, so I don't know why we can't hold it over for the next meeting on the 1st.
Well, actually, the date listed on there is May 11th of last
Year. This has been pending a whole year.
Oh. So it doesn't renew it this year on the 2017 then?
I don't recall what the situation was. I know that there were agreements with other counties that were approved, but apparently this one was not at the same time.
Right.
They're all the same agreement. For some reason, this one wasn't approved and signed at that same time.
We have 5 or 6 approved.
Talking with Lyndon, the idea was to bring this one forward just as a formality and then kind of revisit it and formulate a standard form and then bring that forward for future use.
So we currently do not have an agreement with Stickney?
Not a
So
signed
nothing has been
agreement.
ever with Stickney? It's not like an
laying out
automatic
for a year.
renewal?
I think there was previously, and that one expired, and then this one never took its place.
Well, I'd be really interested in the answer to my question for the other counties or municipalities, you know.
Well, and I would assume that if you're going to look at whether you're really covering your costs on those intercepts, if Linden has that set through your fees resolution, it's going to be something you're going to amend in January when you do all the fees, and then you would have to in turn then amend your agreements.
Right.
Because you currently have a fee resolution with 2 current agreements now.
Right, but now's the time to start
Right.
planning for this, or this year anyway, it doesn't need to be.
So that you're ready January 1.
Right. Because if you change this one, you should change it for all of them.
Right.
Move to approve.
Second.
And let me just say, based on what I've heard here, I'll change my mind and vote for this, but I want to know, again, being dumb, if we're doing open heart surgery, who's paying for that?
Yep.
Well, and if we can get the information for, I mean, well, that's right around the corner. So if it isn't this one, then I think Mel's question is valid, which is going to lead to other questions, is we just need to understand. So maybe if it's not this work session, it's going to be one in the future. But I think it'd be really good to know that information.
Okay, we had a motion, we had a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action on Resolution R2017-25, a plat of Lot 6, Block 1 of CJM, Second Edition in the northwest quarter of Section 32, T104 North, R60 West of the 5th PM, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota.
Again, the Planning Commission held a hearing on this and recommended approval. This is out in that Anthony Avenue, just north of the lake.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action on Resolution Number R2017-26, a plat of Lot 11, Block 2 of CJM, Second Edition in the northwest quarter of Section 32, T104 North, R60 West of the 5th PM, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota.
Again, the Planning Commission recommended approval. This one's just further down the street a little bit.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Action on Resolution R2017-27, real estate purchase agreement approval.
All right, well, this purchase agreement is supplementary to the 6th Avenue Plaza project. Essentially, the area we're talking about is the scoreboard lot just south of the Corn Palace, which is owned by the Mitchell Area Chamber of Commerce. They would be transferring us 2 strips, one on the very west edge and one on the very north end of the property for the purpose of accommodating the fence that would go in on that area.
How much is that land worth?
I don't know if we've ever, I assume that it wasn't appraised. I've never seen an appraisal for it.
This is the reason why I ask. We're going to have a donor board, you know, and it would seem to me that if this land was of sufficient value, that they should be listed as a donor on that board. That's the only reason why I ask.
Then you'd have to go out per square foot probably on something.
The chamber would be listed as a donor.
Right. I mean, I don't know what it's worth, but if it's $1,000 worth of land, they're giving it to us for $1, they should have their name on the board. Now, if they're giving us $50 worth of land and they're giving it to us for $1, then okay, fine. But, you know, I mean, they don't have to do this, and it's simple, and we appreciate it, and it would just seem that it would be only right if it met the criteria for the donor board in terms of amount that they be listed.
We can certainly find that out and keep track of that. At this point, we hadn't planned on a donor wall. We were just keeping a donor medallion for the features that are not included in Phase 1 for future. But we'll find out the cost of it, and we'll have it in case we do end up with that.
Yeah, just so they're treated like
Yep.
every other donor.
And with the fence getting added to that property, we're also adding gates to the scoreboard property too, so it is enhancing a little bit of the operations that they have there too.
Move to approve. Oh, move to approve the resolution.
Number 20.
Second that.
I'm going to second that.
Not very vague. Oh,
Second the resolution of the resolution.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Action to approve bids for construction of the Corn Palace Plaza, 6th Avenue Plaza, City Project Number 2016-18.
Included in your packet, you had a staff report going over what the bid results were. As you saw when you looked through the bid tab, there was, I'm going to try and have two things open here so I can talk both at once. There were several different schedules. There was a Schedule A, which was the paving and utilities. We had Schedule B, which was site features, furnishings, and landscape. Alternate 1 is originally when we were talking about the plan, it was just going to be 3 green spaces. It's enhancing that entrance, so we had that west entrance complete. The only portion that, let me see where this is, that would not be on, it's not included yet. I thought I had the pictures in here. Oh, I did, it's over here. Sorry about that. One computer at a time. So this alternate 1 is this enhanced area here. It includes the Corn Palace Plaza sign, the base for the sculpture. The sculpture's not there because that's a separate art item. It has lighting within the sign, so it'll be uplit. It's tied, actually, there's lighting capabilities within the sculpture. They're talking about maybe like a see-through, kind of like the way the domes are, but make it look like a corn cob so that they can tie it to the same lighting as the domes. So if they wanted to do something special there, they could. So that would be the alternate 1. The alternate 2, you saw in the bid tabs, there was a couple different alternates. The chamber is also incorporating some changes to their plaza. They're removing those knee-high walls, and the Indian head sculpture is being moved to a different location. At this time, they are just proceeding with that first alternate. They'll do the stepped or platform or some other kind of viewing space at a future date. So back to my original page here. So when you saw the total city expense there is $648,611.76. With the chamber's entry plaza of $10,271, it brings the bid award to $659,993.51. Like I said, I can answer any of those other questions that you had on the phase breakouts. That alternate 2 is paid directly by the chamber. They did do a phasing of the project so that they will not start on Main Street until after that Kyle Petty charity ride. They'll first start on 6th Avenue, then they move to a portion of Main Street, and then they kind of shift over. The reason why it's done in that phased method is so that the front door to the Corn Palace will be accessible throughout the entire summer. So they put the construction fence up, and they'll do the north half, then they'll do the south half. So you always have access to the front door. It was a little bit more costly. We heard from a couple of the contractors in doing this phased approach, but it makes more sense for the way that we use the area. We are lucky it was a local bidder, so Rex Winkle Concrete, they're fully aware of what the Corn Palace is to the city of Mitchell, and it sounds like they have a lot of local vendors working as well. I did do a budget breakdown for council. This budget is everything that was included in 16 and 17. You can see the construction costs for those 3 items as well as the professional services. I will point out that the professional services, the schematic community planning part was that original community input sessions that we took. It wasn't part of the design, engineering, or anything like that. We do not have the final number for the construction administration, but that's an estimate that we got from SPN. And so the budget balance remaining would be $45,028.24. That would be used then to finish that sculpture piece that will go on the entry sign.
Stephanie, how much of this would we have spent anyway to refurbish the street and the utilities? I mean, I think a lot of the people in the public, they look at, they go, oh my goodness, $800,000, and they don't realize that even without the pavilion, work needed to be done on 6th Street. So how much of that? It's $500,000 roughly, isn't it?
Yep, it's about 537 is the Schedule A for the paving and utilities. That's the traffic control, erosion, the removals of the existing street, grading and earthwork. We're no longer going to have the curb and gutter. We're going to have one flat surface. They have to redo some of that drainage area there. Now, some of the lighting and electrical, there was some additional work because we're adding, we're moving those light poles from this side of the street to the other side of the street. We're adding the conduit that we need in order to do the spotlights for the Corn Palace on the south side of the building, see if I'm on the right way. So the plaza actual features and furnishings was $115,400. The landscape and improvement was $39,445. So the total was, oops, that's the estimate, excuse me. The bid was 104 and it was estimated to be 154. So Schedule A, the paving and utilities, actually came in at 497 and was estimated to be 537.
Yeah, and I understand why we're doing it this way, but I think for the public,
Yep.
it's, the plaza is $105,000.
Yeah.
It's not 800 and some thousand, it's 105,000.
Yeah, and we do like to just remind the public too of the safety improvements that will happen on Main Street with the enhanced crossing in front of the Corn Palace, the wider walkways. If you look at our sidewalks there, they're very broke up. They're going to be fixed too, and they are done with the extra thickness so that they can do the decorating of the Corn Palace. We have,
I'm sorry. Is any contingency money built in any of these, or these are straight bid?
these are the straight bid numbers.
So the 45,000 isn't a crazy number. That's like 5 or 6%
Yeah.
contingency. So
Yeah.
it's good.
So Mel, before you leave, I was just going to mention that this is exactly the comments I get. If I get any comments on the 6th Street, it's, you're putting 850,000 and we see the designs, how in the world? So that is an excellent point. Because if people remember, a couple years ago, we had to delay 5th Street. We're doing a lot of the work underneath 5th Street as we're doing on 6th Street. And we had to delay because our bids came in so high.
Right.
That we had to take it another year and bid it as such. But all of that work that was done underneath 5th Street is we are now taking a street at a time, and it happens to be 6th Street's turn. And oh, by the way, we're making it in a mall area also. So
Right.
thank you, Stephanie, for breaking that out and making that clear, because that does need to be out in the public. And the other thing that amazed me is when Tim and his crew puts the numbers together, that even though we have to break it out in so many different line items, and I know you can look at an individual line item and see if one's off or one's on or whatever, but all in all, I was very impressed with our estimate that what we had. And several months later, our bids came in just slightly under. So that's, Tim, thanks for doing that work, because when you bring us a project of this size, we really don't know, again, what the bids come in, but you pleasantly surprised us again with the numbers as such.
Well, this is a team effort, and Stephanie's put in a lot of work on this. I just want to point out, this also includes a half a block of Main Street that's being rebuilt.
That's what I was trying to get. And that speed table, I think that Tim suggested as part of the project is going to be great, because it's going to give more recognition for people crossing the street. The way the landscaping is designed on both sides of the street, it really brings people to that point to cross. One of the questions that I get frequently is who's going to water the planters. They do have the irrigation built into them, so we're not going to have to go out and water those planters. So if that's a concern that you've heard too. It's going to be, I think, a great enhancement. It's going to give us an idea of what we can do to continue to improve our Main Street area.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate your comments, because I was getting gas today between two citizens who were very informed and budget conscious, and so, you're trapped there. Well, I got the lecture about, you're spending you're spending $800,000, on 14 square feet, and that's just not the case.
I've got one other question, if I can. I see in the contract that we have Schedule A with substantial completion date of July 21st, otherwise there's a daily penalty, and Schedule B as substantial completion as of August 1st, otherwise there's a daily penalty. How are we monitoring that to make sure we don't come up to July 19th and say we've got 73 items left to do, or will we get update, or do we know how much substantial completion should be done by June 1st and July 1st, et cetera, so that we just don't get up to July 21st and say, oh my gosh, we're 3 weeks behind?
And I'm assuming that we're talking about item number 22 with the construction agreement, correct? I believe that that's also part of SPN's role as the construction administration. Tim?
Yes, and I'll say that SPN brought us a contract for them to administer this contract already. We looked at it, didn't like the numbers, and sent it back and told them to tighten up their numbers. So
Okay.
SPN will be monitoring that
Sorry,
construction
I
and
jumped
reporting to us.
Saw that.
No, but that's why we have that additional agreement coming to you. You saw the estimate on the budget, so it's included in your budget figures. They also knew how important it was to have the project done before Corn Palace Festival Week. So this week, or this year, people could just bring their lawn chairs for that Freedom Stage versus having to bring the bleachers out.
And the weather can change all of that.
I guess the other question I get asked a lot is whether this is going to, if the construction is going to interrupt the decorating of the murals. It is not. Scott did have a meeting with me and his staff about how they're going to time that. They wouldn't be starting corn at that time anyways. Scott will be included in the construction meeting so he can let his staff know where they're needing to be working at. But the thought is with them getting that 6th Avenue majorly work done first, they'll have access to that right away while they're completing the rest of the work.
Well-
Need a motion for Rex Winkle? Make a motion for Rex Winkle to have the contractor job.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Next is action to authorize the mayor to sign agreement number 82017-13, which is the construction agreement for city project number 2016-18, Corn Palace Plaza.
Move to authorize.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to award bids for rock chips supply, city project number 2017-10.
Tim, maybe I just have a question. The next 4 items only had one bidder on each one. Is there a reason it's so specialized in that, or?
Well, Spencer Quarries has the only quarry in our neighborhood that produces the hard rock chips. Jebro is one of 2 that used to bid this. The other one I don't know if they went out of business or quit bidding, but they are an oil producer. And they are a rare breed too. They produce road oil, and there aren't 4 or 5 of them in the area. There may be 2 in a 2 or 3 state area. So we then compare with the last year or the year before's bids is what we do.
How about the waste and water supply? Is that a single type thing as well?
Oh, okay.
The reason of that one is we had to place an order to restock our inventory and came past the bid amount, the 25,000 bid amount that's set by the state. So Tim said before we order any more supplies, let us put out a bid for all the supplies we order. A lot of it is brand specific because a lot of it is parts for American Darling hydrant or parts for Waterous hydrant. So a lot of that is brand specific where basically only your distributor could purchase those products. And the one bidder that we have on there is the company that we buy 95% of all of our products from, because they're all the same type of materials that we want to stock in our shop and the same type of materials that we specify that need to be installed throughout the city.
And that's good. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure if it's sole supply, it's sole supply. We're not just sticking with the friends or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
And on the paving and overlay, I've worked for the city 26 years, and I believe no more than 2 or 3 of those years have we had competing bids. Commercial Asphalt has their plant a few miles from town. Anyone else would have to haul a plant in from Brookings or from Minnesota or somewhere to compete with that.
Move to award the rock chip city project 2017-10 to Spencer Quarries.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve, or action to award bids for petroleum products, city project number 2017-13.
Motion to approve.
Just want to confirm if I do the math right, this comes out to $133,800 compared to the $172,500 that we had bid?
That's correct, and we're going to, we hope to try something new this year is after we put down the oil and then the rock, we're going to try to spray another light coat of oil on top of that, and that was estimated today. Kevin talked to me at about $25,000 to $27,000.
So
that'll seal the rock down.
So we have enough room in your total budget item to do that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to.
Okay, we had a motion, we had a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to award bids for petroleum products, city project number 2017-13.
Move to award to HD Supply Waterworks.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to award bids for paving and overlay, city project number 2017-15.
That'd be commercial asphalt, wouldn't it? Move to award commercial asphalt.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Action to award bids for water and wastewater supply number 2017-30.
Can you tell us what the total of that is? Did it fall in the $25,000?
We're bidding this by the foot, so we can order any particular quantities.
We don't have a certain number because it's based off what our needs are until the end of the year. So therefore, there is no quantity, therefore no final price. But we will order to match what our needs are and what our budget we have available for.
Move to approve.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First reading on ordinance number 2017-04, vehicle for hire inspection requirements.
Move to put on first reading.
Second.
I have a question. We talked about if they're from out-of-town operators subject to similar safety regulations in another jurisdiction. Do we have any idea if anybody outside of Mitchell requires any inspection?
The larger municipalities do. I don't know
But do
if
the
some of the
larger
smaller
municipalities
communities.
come in here and work?
For prom and stuff like that, you'll get people from Sioux Falls and other similar sized communities come in.
Like limousine services, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We've hired them.
Is there a motion?
We have a
Oh, motion second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is first reading on ordinance number 02017-05, one-way traffic exemptions.
I don't have a whole lot to say on this one either. Basically, we do have garbage trucks working right now that, due to routing, will end up going down the wrong direction on a one-way street, simply due to the fact that they only have an arm on one side. And I guess we haven't required people to take their garbage can across the street. So this is basically just to allow the traffic commission to hear those requests if somebody has a need to travel the opposite direction.
Okay, so that's how they would come, we would be notified of through the traffic commission to get a
Right.
permit here? That was my question. Are there other instances other than probably our garbage trucks, if somebody was doing tree work or other stuff on one-way streets, they'd have to ask for
This-
a
yeah, this-
permit to drive down the wrong way?
This would also allow people like that to also make a request, and it allows the traffic commission to set whatever terms they deem necessary.
So that could be a one-time instance, or it could be a normal process, like for the garbage truck.
Right, so
We wouldn't
say
do
for
that
our
every time
garbage
we
trucks.
meet. We'd set some kind of a length or term to that.
Right. I would probably just recommend that it be set for 1 year at a time. But if you've got somebody that is working on a specific job at this site and they know it's going to be a 1-week project, you could tighten up that window and say, okay, we're going to give you 2 weeks. We'll give you a couple days on either side of it just to allow for that. But
See that?
Another example, if you ever changed your recycling vendor in the future and they went to an automated arm, they would have to apply for a permit also if the city wasn't the one doing the collection.
Yeah, and I was thinking, the garbage situation, that the people can get used to. I'm just, the onesies, the one-offs, how are we going to notify them? But that's traffic, I guess, that figures that out.
How has this been, have we been driving the wrong way on one-way streets so far?
Garbage trucks have been. And it's probable that if a highway patrolman didn't like the city of Mitchell, he could come in and give all our garbage trucks tickets.
So I'm just wondering why we're not asking people to put their garbage cans across the street.
I'll tell you why. I live on a one-way street, and I don't want 14 garbage cans in front of my house so that the garbage truck can come down one way on the street.
Or we change them all back to two-way streets, but we went down that road.
Right.
No pun intended.
I think there could also be some debate on whether it's a greater public safety risk to have people taking their garbage can across the street versus having a garbage truck going down.
Especially
I
in the winter.
would welcome that debate. Yeah. I would welcome that debate because my concern is you start when people are seeing cars, traffic, or a garbage truck going the wrong way, they're like, hey, the city can do it, why can't I? I feel like this is just, in my opinion, this is sending such a wrong message, and I have a real problem with a garbage truck or anyone else driving the wrong way on the
Tim, how long have they been doing that?
20 years or more, and of course our garbage trucks and dump trucks have more flashing lights on them than you can shake a stick at.
So do we have more than just the city garbage trucks? I know the other vendors that pick up in town, they're manual, I believe. Is that correct? And maybe this shouldn't be about a garbage truck. It should be about the one way, as you pointed out, and then we look at each one individually. But was curious how this all came about. First of all, we've been doing it this way for 20 years.
I guess it just kind of came up at one of our management meetings. I don't know if there was anything specific that prompted it, but it was probably during the time that we were discussing the recycling contract that the idea came up.
I think we were talking about recycling and the use of the automatic arms and how would they pick up on the one-way streets, and that's when some of us didn't realize garbage trucks were going both ways on one-way streets,
Yeah, and snow plows as well.
Yep.
We plow a lot of these streets with 2 trucks. The front one pushes it off to the parking lane, and the second one pushes it up over the curb, and then they turn around and go the other way to do the same thing.
Lyndon? If I didn't want to put you on the spot again, I would ask you, in terms of safety, what your opinion is about this. But if you are comfortable giving your opinion, I would welcome it.
I supported this when Justin and I visited about it. That's why I said I think we should have something in ordinance that allows for it. And then you can specify they have to have so many lights, or it can be only from daylight hours or whatever, or evening hours. I don't know what it would be. But you can put your parameters on what it would be for each vehicle.
And one of the standard conditions that I put in the staff report would recommend that anytime somebody's traveling the opposite direction down a one-way street is that they yield to any oncoming traffic. So
I don't recall any accidents.
I don't either.
During a management meeting, though, we were talking about the risk factor, and if somebody did take a corner and run into one of our garbage trucks or whatever, as it was going down a one-way street the opposite direction, we thought we better have some permission in our city ordinances or whatever to make sure that that was covered.
Well, and again, what we're approving here is the ability to come forth and give, or ask permission to do that, and we can look at them individually as they come forth. I think Susan's got some merit, but we've been doing it that way for 20 years, but in reality, go ahead and go down the wrong way on a one-way street, you're good. But at least we're going to bring it out in the open and have a discussion, and we know that it was voted on, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years ago, that keep the one-way streets, and so we did. And now is, okay, but you know what the consequences could possibly be as a result of that. So just, I think it's fine that we're bringing this forward and probably having the discussion, but I kind of look forward to actually visiting about this and see if anybody else is wanting, but I'm going to be a little hesitant about opening this thing up because, like Danny said, maybe at that point it better be two-way streets because there's a reason why we voted it in a one-way street. All the traffic's supposed to flow that direction. But again, I'll understand that we've got the one-armed bandits here.
And Susan, we did talk about whether you should require people to move them across the street too as an option.
And maybe that's when we have that discussion and what is the true safety issue and we have more discussion on the recycling that probably needs to come into play.
And we all know, I mean, what maybe was good 20 years ago might not be good for today. I mean, obviously things change. And I never even knew we were going down the street the wrong way. I'll be honest with you. Obviously I don't live over in that area, so I figured they had some way to figure out how they got the garbage, or maybe they used the two-man guy yet that they do down my alley that I use. So I didn't have any idea, but I am somewhat shocked that we are driving down the wrong way. I just, and knock on wood, like you just said a little bit ago, Tim, or whoever said that, we haven't had an accident yet, because I would hate to see that one in court.
Does our current recycler, do they go down the one way, the right direction?
As far as I know.
Does anybody know?
Yeah, well, they do on
your
Third.
street?
On second too.
They have guys working both sides of their truck.
Right, that's true. But again, that doesn't say that they followed the city. A lot of times they do follow the city truck.
That's the street they park in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when they have alley pickup, it's not an issue. Anytime they want it down the alley.
I realize that this is the last thing on our agenda, but I did just receive a text, and I'm just saying to the person that's sending it to me, that's watching on the internet, we do need to talk into our microphones. So.
I did remind you earlier
I
tonight.
know. What's that?
Isn't that a novel idea?
I know. Apparently some of us are sitting back in our seats and talking.
So move to put on first reading ordinance 2017-05.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Next is executive session. Motion to enter into executive session in accordance with SDCL 1-25-2 and also number 4, which is preparing for contract negotiations, employees or employee representatives.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
It is so.
Yeah, I got that. You're taking a jab at both of us, aren't you?
I just had.
Don't forget Bev, don't forget Bev now, she's on a one-way too. It's not our fault we don't live up on, Danny? Danny?
I know. You rolling down? Huh? That's a low rent district over there.
Okay. Are we off? We are off, and we are, wait, no, we are not, thank you. I'm not muted.